Do you like animals? And animal stories? I just got done reading a book that you might enjoy. Oh my goodness, I almost cried at the end. No, it's not sad, it's just so touching. Oh my gosh, I loved this book. Of course, it's by an author who I love, Farley Mowat, Mowat. This is the book. Oh, wrong direction, I think. There's the book. Owls in the Family. This book takes place in, I don't know, the 1930s, I think, in Saskatchewan, Canada. And it's about a boy who is he 10? I think he's about 10 years old. And he keeps all kinds of animals. He just loves animals. And he ends up coming across two owls. And those owls become part of his family. Now, the book is based on a lot of true things that did happen, but I think a lot of it may be fiction too. You can see the picture there. The dog in the picture, well, there's more than one dog, but there's another book called The Dog Who Wouldn't Be, by Farley Mowat. In fact, I've got that right over here. I'll show you, which is one of my favorite books. I don't know how many times I've read it. In fact, I've read it so much that I had to buy a new copy because my old copy was starting to fall apart. But these books, well, first of all, a lot of places that rate books say that these books are for children. But no, they are really not. I mean, you could read them to children and you'd have to explain what a lot of the vocabulary words meant. Not word by word. You just sort of have to explain the gist of what's going on, because some of the language is, it uses words that that kids are not exposed to as much as they used to be. Anyhow, the book is funny, it's exciting, it's got subtleties to it that an adult would really appreciate, especially if you like animals or stories about animals. So, this book, I guess it sums it up on the back. Here's the heartwarming story of how a boy named Billy finds wool and weeps and unwittingly adds two new members to his family. And wool and weeps are owls. Anyhow, I could just, even though I was brought up in New York City in an apartment, I have had, since those years, a lot of outdoor experiences, and I love animals. And I could just, and I was a little kid once, I could relate to a lot of stuff in there. And I've been a parent also, so I could relate to a lot of things that went on with the parents in the book. I just wanted to recommend it to you. You could read it, or you could read it to your kids or with your kids. And that would just be such a fun thing. And if you're an adult, I highly recommend The Dog Who Wouldn't Be. If you like reading stories about dogs, and especially about simpler times. This was back in the 1920s and 30s. By the way, Farley Mowat lived from 1921 to 2014, so, fairly recently. And this book takes place in Canada also. Let's see. Yes, so the things in this book took place like in the 1930s. and life was a lot simpler then than it is now. So I think you might find it really enjoyable. Oh, golly. I, I want to tell you about it, but there are so many things to tell. Well, I just highly recommend it to you. I figured I'd jump on here and tell you about these two books. They're so pleasant to read, and if you do read them or if you have read them, let me know what you think, okay? So the main book I talked about is Owls in the Family, and the other book is The Dog Who Wouldn't Be.